Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to do a little comparison of Highland Park 21 year, a triple comparison.
Yep,
if
three-way.
you will. Three-way comparison. What we have here, folks, for you is today the 47.5% old 21-year-old. This one, I believe, is a 2007 bottling that I have here. This is the August 2019 bottling of the 21 at 46% ABV, and we also have the November of 2019, and it's also at 46% ABV. So basically all three of the new Highland Park 21s. Now, Dustin, I was always a fan of this Highland Park 21, had a really special place for me in my journey. I remember the first time I had the 18, I was wowed, and then I stepped up to this 21, I thought, oh, I'm really getting to my Highland Park groove here.
Yeah.
So this and the 25 and the 30, I always thought were kind of the apex of the Highland Park market, ones that I always truly loved. Now, they discontinued this one a while back.
Yep.
And it was a couple of years went by, and then they finally brought these out in 2019, which they're not, I guess, staying to a dogmatic recipe. They're kind of changing up cask maturation-wise on both of these bottlings, and let's talk a little bit about that right now. So for this one, it's just a basic Highland Park cask maturation, up to about 40% first fill sherry casks, and then second fill sherry, and maybe some bourbon casks. This 2019, it says here on the box that they came in, essentially what the cask maturation is, so I'll share that with you now. So this August 19 release is created from 6 first fill sherry seasoned European oak casks, 4 first fill sherry seasoned American oak casks, and 5 refill casks, all hand selected by our buddy Gordon, the master distiller. What can you tell me about the one in November?
So the November release is 9 first fill European sherry seasoned oak hogsheads. They had to make a distinction. 8 bourbon hogsheads. And 9 refill hogsheads. So this one less sherry than this one. This one's pretty much all sherry with a couple of mystery casks there at the end.
Yeah, probably ex-bourbon, I would guess.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so this is what we got here for the 21-year-old Highland Park. So these are readily available still. This one is a little bit hard to find these days since it's been discontinued for, years now, right? 5 years?
16, 17?
16,
right?
something along that. I might be wrong. But again, always a big fan of this. I've just recently had these today when you started sharing them with me. So let's get into it, Dustin. I will say the first thing is the color on all these are remarkably similar. I would say the old 21 is slightly darker, but it's closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, the bottle kind of makes these look lighter because it's just wider.
Oh, yeah, I would say that.
Especially the base. I mean, it just kind of spreads out.
Flares out.
Yeah, because in the bottle you do think this one's much darker, and I think it's darker.
Yeah, but once we kind of got them in, it's not as the obvious darkness that I thought it would be difference-wise. Okay, so let's do this. Since they're all basically the same ABV, let's just go all right to your left. So basically, for you guys watching here, we will go from your left to the right. So we'll just go here from these bottoms here. So we'll start
going
with
oldest to newest.
Oldest to newest, 47.1. Here we go.
All right.
I love this whiskey.
Yeah.
Always have. Candied orange.
Absolutely. A little bit of smoke.
A little bit of smoke. Nice, a little more smoke than I'm usually used to with Highland Park.
And it's a dirtier smoke too. I mean, it's a little bit of heather, burnt, charred kind of a thing going on there. Yeah.
Beautiful smelling whiskey though.
Yeah, I mean, this is really classic distillate Highland Park, old bottles. It's the stuff we're used to.
Man, that heather honey, just a beautiful, rich heather honey. And the sherry cask really, this is a nice mix between letting the cask do some work for you, but still that Highland Park distillery characteristic is still there. And that's that nice heather honey with that light smoke and that beautiful, what I think of as orange, but definitely citrus.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm definitely with you on orange, and it's candied. It's not overpowering, it's not sticky sweet. It's both sweet, it's citrus, but it's also drying. The oak tannins are there. It's a beautiful kind of, again, like you always say, Mike, balanced.
Yes.
Incredibly balanced.
Incredibly balanced whiskey for this old 47.5. Well, let's go to August of 2019, 46% ABV.
Yeah, so August, I'm instantly picking up some vanilla, and I'm picking up a much like a artificial sweetener type thing, or some kind of like putty. There's just a slight hint of some kind of, I'm not really sure what to call it. It's more of a peat, but like not the smoky peat, but like that earthy peat.
There's something you can grab onto here. It's almost like taffy. Yeah, there's something dense, a little more substantial.
Yeah, there's some saltiness here too.
Yeah, you do get a few more of the coastal elements. It's definitely not as sherried as this old one here.
No, which is surprising because there's a significant number of first fill
sherry butts.
Yeah, but I guess seasoned versus perhaps full maturation.
Correct.
And that could be the difference.
And you know, with some of the seasoned sherry hawk is just like a couple of Lagavulins we had, I do get that nice candied vanilla in there.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means to me, in my opinion, is yes, it's seasoned. It doesn't have the sherry maturation that you would think, but more of that natural wood flavors are coming out in this.
Yeah, and you definitely can pick up on some of that European oak. There's a spiciness in here that's coming through.
A little bit of spice, yeah, you're right.
It's not heavy, but it's just enough where you're thinking, yeah, they did use some European oak. But yeah, really nice.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a little different way. Again, not as sherried for sure. But again, you can take away sherry if you replace that with good bourbon maturation flavors like the vanilla and a little bit of honey, which I know you get in the Highland Park anyway. That's a nice trade-off.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to November 2019.
This one's a little cleaner. Believe it or not, even though this is more bourbon, I'm getting a little bit more of the red fruits here. I'm getting just in general, this is fruitier.
Yeah, I'm glad you said red fruits. I'm getting apple with this, as opposed to like this one was orange. I'm not getting really a lot of citrus notes on this one comparatively.
No, there's apple and there's like red fruits. Like there's a little bit of berry, like you get from a sherry cask, and then there's apple.
It almost reminds me of the red berry note I get from Talisker 18. Not that this is reminiscent of Talisker 18, but just specifically that berry note.
Yeah, I think we're kind of in the same boat. Again, it's that light. There is sherry, but it's not heavy. It's not overpowering.
Almost strawberry.
Yeah, you know how you say that. I can go with that all day.
All right, quick thoughts.
Now-
Nose. 1, 2, 3.
Now, you go back to this old one real quick, Mike.
Okay.
I'm getting dirty charcoal coming out big time. Like after these cleaner, nicer.
Dirty honey.
Yeah.
Dirty honey.
I mean, something's been burnt.
It's honey with smoke.
Yeah.
It's rich though.
It is. It's rich.
It's richer.
Yes.
Richer.
This smells older.
I
This
agree.
smells like this is for sure 20 plus years. These two,
I could have been convinced they were 18.
I would have completely been, I would have believed you.
Yeah. So yeah, this feels, and who knows? It's not necessarily that it's older, Dustin. Something could just be the fact that it is a seasoned cast as opposed to a cast that had true sherry and maturation in it. Because again, I've read that these are up to 40% first fill, 40-45% first fill sherry cast in these old 21s, and when it's true sherry cast maturation, it's just a different experience with the whiskey, especially once you get 20 plus years in that cast.
Absolutely.
What do you pick up the palate? What did we do with the first thing?
Huh.
What would you take a drink of, by the way?
Oh, that one.
That one, okay.
Yeah,
This one first.
Yeah, so it's powerful, it's rich, it's very spicy. It's actually spicier than when we had it earlier. And yeah, I mean, you got heather honey, the orange, the citrus, all that's here. It's a little cleaner on the mouth, I think, than on the nose. I'm not getting quite as much of that dirtiness, but there is still some smoke.
Yep.
Again, balanced, but dense, old oak, old sherry with just a really nice distillate.
Yeah, so I'm not really saying any of the flavors I don't want to have a lot of extra flavors other than the ones that you said, but I will say this. Typically when I think light smoke, honey, and sherry, I think of a lighter, fruitier whiskey. This is a dirty version of smoke, sherry, and a little bit of honey. This is a gritty, almost Springbank-ish funkiness.
Yeah.
Not that it's Springbank, but bordering
It's not
on,
Campbelltown, but there's a funk,
yeah, bordering on a very dirty, stepped-on whiskey to some degree.
Yeah,
Almost.
yeah.
And again, when I swallowed, you used to get the tingle on the side, and as it kind of lingers here, and as the honey and the smoke kind of subsides, then man, that candied orange peel comes in.
Yeah.
And it's candied orange peel.
Yeah, I get a little citrus at the very, very first touch, and then it goes right to, all that other darker stuff, and then it brings back a little of the orange on the finish. You're right.
All right, let's go to the August.
Summer release here.
And again, on the nose, I would say this has a little bit of sherry, but the vanilla, again, is the first thing I always would pick up, on the nose, but on the palate, what are you picking up?
Same thing. It's vanilla. It's creamy. It's not a good oak note. These casks, I do not think the wood profile is doing this any service. I'm getting a little bit of honeycomb on the end, like literally the cereal as a kid.
Yeah, there's almost some oak tan in there.
Yeah.
It's almost like a cast that had been used too many times. Not all of it, because there is that nice vanilla there.
Yeah.
There's something right when you first swallow, and as the smoke kind of comes back like it normally does with Highland Park, in between that and the drying finish, there's something old wood or rotting wood sort of flavor to it.
I'm thinking also, Mike, just bad sherry. I think this is really cheap sherry that they did not leave in the cask nearly long enough.
It could, you're right, it could, maybe the wood isn't what the problem was. Maybe it was a cast that really didn't do much and they seasoned it with sherry.
Yeah. Well, the
and
problem is
then
we're
it was
getting
just
too
very
much.
superficial.
We're getting too much boring oak flavor here.
Yeah.
That should have been covered up by more years with the sherry in there. Because I don't know, you know this, when they do a sherry butt, do they char it? 'Cause I don't think they do. I think they just put the sherry in there. Maybe they toast it.
Toast it? I don't know. I'm sure someone in the
Yeah.
comment section is going to know
Because-
that more than we would. It'd be a guess if I
Yeah,
would say
because to me, I'm getting young, fresh oak on this, which you only would get if you used a sherry butt that you didn't do a heavy char on, and then you left sherry in there way too short a time.
When we were nosing earlier, I said, "Hey, look, this doesn't smell these don't smell as old as this. This doesn't taste 21 years old in my opinion. This tastes very 15, 16-year-old whiskey to me.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Which again is just weak cask maturation in my opinion. So we're going to go over here to this November of 2019, and maybe that's the reason why they came out with another one so quick, because they weren't happy with this.
Yeah.
What do you pick on, pal? Anything better?
Oh, this is so much better. Oh yeah. Spicy, a lot of flavor. Really kind of coats the mouth with like a nice little bit of peat, a little bit of tannin, good oak presence, good vanilla. Then the finish does bring in a little bit of that young, unrefined oak that we mentioned before, but it's very subtle compared to this one where it's front and center.
And in the same place. Like, you swallow, you get that instant finish of smoke like you normally do with Highland Park, and it's in between that smoke and that Highland Park drying that comes in 4 or 5 seconds later.
Yeah.
It's that weird, funky, off sherry note.
Yeah, and again, and this one is
But
it's not a bad thing because it's a subtle one. It's not there for a long time. Whereas this one, it's the
stuck.
showcase.
Yeah, it's stuck. And you know what? You're right. Like, initially on the palate, this the 18th, or excuse me, the November, it was definitely more sherried. The vanilla was richer. You got a little bit more of a smoke kick in this. And you're right, that it was easier to get past that little bit of an off-putting note in between, where you're right, that might have been the second most dominant flavor on the palate and the finish on this one, where that one, maybe it's 5 or 6 down.
Yeah, and this is the one that has the bourbon casks in it, Mike. Like, this has way less sherry than this one does. So
better cask, regardless of what cask they are, is always the better way to go. The older the whiskey gets.
And what I'm getting back to though is the way they're seasoning casks for these bottles is terrible. 21 years. Now, mind you, this is 21 years ago. Maybe they just had a couple bad years. I'm hoping.
They had to get rid of whiskey,
but
for blends.
That's just not. That sherry is not good.
Now, this one was always. Let's talk a little bit about price. This one was always around $200 on like Master Malt, and they still used to ship to the States in a few places like that. Now, this one's discontinued now, so it's pumped it up to about $320 or so.
Yep.
About pushing what this bottle is worth, because I think I got this from an online retailer recently, maybe about 9 or 10 months ago.
Yep.
And I was in the very, very low threes. What do these things run?
So
low twos.
So here's the problem. This one I picked up in the UK, and I paid low twos. This one I picked up in the US, I paid high threes.
That's not worth high threes.
Absolutely not. This is a huge waste of money.
I mean, it's the better of the two.
Now, I will say this. You can get these, I've seen $325 to $375 in the States.
That's too much.
But again, these are running around $200 to $250 in the UK.
Well, good. I mean, at least the price reflects the quality of the whiskey to some degree.
I would say this one probably was at the same price if you can find them. I don't know if one was more predominantly sold here in the States than the other one. I don't really know.
Sure.
But I know both made it to the States. I've only seen this one. I'm glad that the better one's the one I paid more for, just for my own mental sanity. But
For sure.
at
No, I'm
$250,
with you.
what do you think? I mean, I think this particular one's probably not worth it, but this one I think is.
$250 for that, I could see that. I mean, the problem is, do I enjoy the whiskey in any price? You know what I mean? $80 is too much to pay if I don't enjoy the
Absolutely.
whiskey. So, no, I wouldn't pay $250 for that. I don't even know if I'd pay $250. I don't even know, after we're sipping on this, that this was worth the $320.
Yeah,
They're better whiskeys.
$225 is really kind of, I think, pushing it for any of these.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. They're not over 50% ABV. They're not even 40%, 48%. This is a 47.5, which is a nice ABV.
It's a good ABV.
But, you and I both had this off camera. What was our first thought? Was, on the palate comes off a bit thin.
Yeah.
Bit thin. I mean, it's 21 years old. It's refined. But I should still get a wow for $300 plus.
Yeah, there's nothing in any of these bottles that makes me go, oh, yeah.
You need to try this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why we do this. We're trying to give it to you
Well,
straight.
like, for example, we had a rum earlier today, Mike. You didn't enjoy it, which is fine. But you have to admit, the lingering and how long that finish lasted was wow.
Wow in a bad way, but yes, wow.
Well, you wanted it to go away, but still.
No. I mean,
But you get a 10-minute finish in a drink, you're impressed because you're like,
For sure.
wow, that's impressive.
It'll be the first thing I'll say about that rum. Like, well, it really wasn't my thing, but damn, it really had a finish on it.
Yeah, but these, balanced.
Yeah. Boring.
I enjoy the nose. It's going to be something I drink
Let me put it this way: if one of my buddies who's a whiskey drinker comes over here, I don't want to bore him with one of these whiskeys. If it's you or Keith or Mash and Drum or Adam or somebody, I'm not boring him with these whiskeys. However, if it's one of my brother-in-laws who really don't know whiskey, like, they're getting these whiskeys.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to be impressed with them.
Yeah.
And that's its place, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the place where someone who doesn't know whiskey, mildly impressed with these. Someone that does know whiskey, I mean, I'd offer better.
Yeah, I mean, again, somebody's just like, oh, I wanted to try Highland Park 21. Sure, enjoy.
There you go. Give them this one.
Yeah, I mean, again, I spent a while with this one, Mike, trying to get it to where I was excited, and I never got there. And then this one, as you can see, I just gave up on it real fast.
I know. All right, so within these versus series, we just kind of want to tell you what we think, like, place-wise. So for me, the nose, the palate, and the finish all are the exact same 3 bottles. So I am the only...
Go back with water.
More candied.
Yeah, taste it.
It made it better.
That one got way better. Whew, that one jumped out.
To be completely transparent, I just popped this today.
Yeah.
I've had it enough times, and Dustin and I had it off camera, to where I felt like I get the gist. It still is the same thing. It still is smoke, peat. Excuse me, smoke, peat. Jeez. It still is smoke, heather honey, and that beautiful candied orange. But the more water and the more time you get this to sit, the more that candied orange comes up.
This one also took a step forward, especially on the nose.
All right.
The middle one.
We're going to keep going.
Apologies, guys.
We're going to keep going.
Adding an extra minute to the video, too.
Water thinned out these palates. Nose a little bit better, thinned out the palate.
Yeah, I still think this one picked up some nice stuff. This just got worse. It didn't help.
No, this one here.
Yeah.
All right, so Dustin, is 3rd place, nose, finish, palate, August 2019. Avoid this one, Highland Park fans. I am in 2nd place for nose, finish, and palate on the November. And of course, and this is not a big surprise, I like the old version.
Yep.
Best of all 3 of these. Now, gap-wise, I'd say this is 89-ish. You could go 88, maybe you could go 90 on this. This is more of a 86. This is more of a 84.
Yeah, ballpark. I'd probably go lower on that one. 86 is probably right here. I'm probably, 88, 89.
88, 89, something like that, yeah. So, I mean, if you can get your hands on them, obviously go with the older bottle here, go with the old 47.5, higher ABV, richer flavors, real sherry, cask maturation, not any of that seasoned jargon. But if you have to pick between these 2, go with the November one. I think maybe they came out with this in August and said, we better get something else out there.
Well, and I'm hoping they do more of these types of bottlings, just because
it's a good idea.
I love the fact that they're giving this disclosure to us now. That's amazing.
For sure.
I mean, when was the last time you had somebody tell you, no, we used 9 of these, we used 8 of these.
Springbank.
Even Springbank doesn't usually get into that kind of detail.
No, it breaks it down for you. It gives you a discipline and everything. So,
this is really...
It's quality disclosure.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you don't get anymore. I mean, you have to go to Compass Box.
I mean, really, with all of the packaging that Highland Park spends money on, my goodness. I mean, you might as well throw in the disclosure there. Every one of these packages, I don't care if it was the Longboat series or the Fire and the Ice or the Light and the Dark, like, they redid packaging.
Yeah.
Every one of these releases. And on that subject, how many releases, or how many bottles of each one of these do we have here?
I have no idea. I mean, they're telling us basically we're looking at something like 19 casks, I think.
Hey, so what are you thinking? Probably
maybe
8,000?
18, 27.
6,
27. So there's 27 here. So
maybe 10.
They're using
15.
hogsheads for the most part, which is probably going to give us maybe a 180 yield.
We're not here for math.
Yeah, that's going to get complicated. They're not unavailable. There's enough of them out there, I think.
Sure.
But they're definitely not... we talked about it earlier. Highland Park, generally, their limited releases are 28,000 bottles.
20, 30. Well, yeah, the Fire and the Ice were, and I think the Light and the Dark were around 30,000 too. Right around.
Yeah, so these are going to be less available than those. So these won't probably be sitting in shelves in 5 years.
You're not missing a ton.
It wouldn't shock me if there's still a few out there, especially at 375.
Yeah, you're not missing a ton.
No.
You can do better. You can do better is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are our thoughts. We want to once again thank you for joining for another whiskey review. And until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy drinking.
We'll see you next time.